Yeah, baby, this is where it all starts. Let's get out there and ball.
And boy, you can just hear the excitement. What a moment indeed. And welcome everyone to another presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. And tipping off the NBA season, State Farm presents our starting lineups. First, for the Rockets, Jeremy Lin and Kevin Martin manning the backcourt. And inside at center from Turkey, one of the best defending big men in the game, 7-footer Omar Ashik. Then there's Chandler Parsons, and it's Patterson in at the 4. And then for the Detroit Pistons, Knight and Stuckey are manning the backcourt. And playing at center, the 6'11" big man out of Georgetown, versatile scorer, terrific passer, Greg Monroe. Then there's Tayshaun Prince, and it's Maxeel, and Hammond comes in off. The bench for his first playing time in an official NBA game.
He's one of the players who got a ton of attention leading up to the draft, and rightfully so. He's an amazing talent.
Yeah, you know, Steve, he was high on every team's wish list. You knew somebody was going to make him a first-round draft choice, and this is it, his chance to show what he's capable of.
Delfino kicks to Martin. Kicks to Lin. Back to Martin. To the paint. Johnson. It's hauled in by Villanueva.
The Rockets, like a number of teams from the West, were able to hold their own and post a good record against the East last season. It wasn't the mark they needed to sneak into the postseason, but they had to have liked how they played against the East.
Rockets leading by 3. And I think Doris Burke has something for us right now. Doris?
Yes, I caught up with Coach Lawrence Frank. He said he certainly followed the rise of Jeremy Lin into a prime-time point guard in this league, and he told me we need to try to limit his penetration. That's where he's most effective, slashing, and with the drive.
Out of bounds. Detroit takes possession. Well, the record for the Rockets against the East, Clark, you're right on the money, 11-7. A solid mark for them, and about what they did the year before, too. Now, Steve, they got to improve on that.
Well, they've got to improve somewhere, somehow, because, they continually end up in that 9th or 10th spot in the West. They're good enough to compete, but just not quite good enough to get over the hump. So adding some extra wins versus the East this year would definitely help.
On the wing, Stuckey, covered by Martin. Stuckey working against Martin. Fader on the way. And that one's good. And that's now 6 points in the game for Stuckey. And here in the second quarter of action with a hair under 2.5 minutes played so far.
Well, Rodney Stuckey is a guy who's steadily improved since entering the league, and last year the Pistons rewarded him with a pretty big contract, a guy who can play either guard spot, and I think he's best suited as a scorer. Well, Parsons was really a surprise coming out of Florida, had a big impact his rookie season with Houston. Very reliable in a lot of areas, can handle the ball, can knock down a long-range shot, and a better defender than you think as well.
That is what makes Parsons such an easy guy to send down to the floor. You know exactly what he's going to give you on offense and is very consistent. Hammond with his first bucket in the NBA. What a feeling he's got to have right now.
Well, I think he's going to be around for a long time in the NBA, even though he's not the flashiest player in the world. But he's got his role, and he knows it, and he plays hard, and that's important.
No, not at all. I mean, every team needs those role players, Steve. We know that, and I agree with you. In that capacity as a role player, I think he can excel.
And when you talk about Stuckey, he's butted heads with some of the coaches they've had in Detroit. But you know what, Clark, last season he seemed more comfortable.
You know what? He credited talking to a therapist with helping him out. And more, Kevin, we're seeing guys understand the benefit of having a mental expert that can talk about behavior and how that enhances performance, being more and more part of NBA teams and pro athletes. The mental has oftentimes been neglected in terms of how important it is to performance. I'm glad to hear him make that admission and share that with folks.
A Sheik kicks to Martin. Three-pointer. Rebound by the Pistons. Closing in on 4 minutes played here in the second quarter. Here's Knight. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Well, Brandon Knight is an athletic combo guard. Spent 1 year at Kentucky, where he took the Wildcats to a Final Four. And for a Detroit team that's already stacked with combo guards, it's a questionable fit. But he's got a bright future in this league. It's just a matter of finding the right situation.
And the Pistons making a change here. Urebko's checked in. And then for Houston, Whitey's checked in for a Sheik. Delfino comes in for Chandler Parsons. And it's Jeremy Lin in for Tony Douglas. Pistons trail by 14. And Brandon Knight can still definitely score, but still developing and proving himself as a playmaker.
Yeah, he really is a guy that takes his craft seriously. As a matter of fact, coming out of high school and even at Kentucky, one of the things that was challenging for his coaches was to help him not strive for such perfection that it was a hindrance. So he's going to continue to work and develop, and he just has to make sure that he's not too hard on himself going forward, because he can be, I think, an excellent guard as a defender and scorer and playmaker.
A leaner. Jump shot is good that time.
You know, they're just getting hammered inside and really need to find a way to be tougher down there. They got to be physical. They got to man up in there.
I agree. I mean, you look at the points they're giving up, most of them seem to be coming inside the paint.
Patterson, the screen. Martin is guarded by Stuckey. Shot off the screen. Blocked.
A very rough quarter for him, as not much is falling right now.
Prince with it. And it's Martin picking him up. Here's Big Dog. Stuckey outside. Nice ball movement by Detroit. And that is good. Prince has got his second bucket of the game to go.
You gotta love the low post offense. That was beautiful.
Rockets leading by 10. Here's Delfino. Outside, Martin. 6 to shoot. Wide, a screen on Stuckey. Martin. Rebound, Detroit. And they're starting off this season against this Houston Rockets team.
Yeah, they got swept in the 2 games that they played.
Oh,
Ridiculous.
Pour it down that time.
An open lane right there. Pretty much saw the daylight he wanted and took advantage.
Yeah, great opportunity, and he seized it without much hesitation.
Yeah, a little too easy, if you ask me. The defense really needs to tighten things up here.
That was a great angle we just saw, courtesy of Sprite. Here's Delfino, guarded by Prince. Left side, Martin. He kicks it to Delfino. Outside, Lin. The pass to Patterson. They need this one. The basket good off the assist from Lin. Lin's got his 3rd assist on the night.
A chance here to check out how the Rockets ranked in the NBA last season. 3rd in three-point shooting, 9th in scoring, and they were top 10 in three-point shooting. That's a huge part of their offensive attack.
I was just really impressed with the free throw shooting that you mentioned. Top 5 in the league in free throw percentage. Says a lot about their concentration and their focus as a team. And this is a key part of the game for this team. They've got to get to the line and knock them down to have a chance to win. A lot of changes last year for the Pistons, guys. New ownership, new coach. but it seemed to me that they started to figure out a direction kind of halfway through the season. And I think their future is suddenly looking a lot brighter than it was a couple of years ago.
Pistons trail by 10. Here's Stuckey. Rejected by Martin. And they get it back. Dishes to Knight. Stuckey outside. Second shot opportunity. Back to Knight. Good look. Basket is good. The assist from Stuckey. Knight's got 5 points now in the quarter. Even though they ended up near the bottom once again, they certainly did have, some revelations. Namely, I think Clark in the play of their terrific big man, Greg Monroe.
I really like his game, Kevin. He's a post player that you can most definitely build around. The Pistons seemed kind of lost for a little bit, but now they have some cornerstones. You talk about Greg Monroe. I thought Brandon Knight had a good rookie season, so a couple of good pieces there. Well, the Rockets just missed being part of the playoffs. Based on the record, the 9th seed in the West. That doesn't get you anything but a number next to your name, really, and good luck for next year. They were in it, though, right until the end.
So, for the Pistons, Drummond comes in for Jerebko, and it's Maggette in for Tayshaun Prince. We're going back to the Rockets, only 2 games back of Utah for that 8th and final conference playoff position. Steve, looked like they just kind of ran out of gas near the end of the year.
Well, they were right there down the stretch, Kevin, but Utah was a little bit stronger. I think injuries may have played a little bit of a factor as well for Houston, but this is a team that you expect to be in the mix year after year.
Rockets leading by 7. Lynn with it. He has 7. Pass to White. With the lead pass. Down goes the slam.
The defense caught dozing off that time.
Yeah, those open dunks, pretty high percentage.
Yeah, you're not going to miss many of those. I mean, this is really a poor defensive effort.
Now let's go to Doris Burke. Doris?
Hey, Kevin. Well, the Pistons are trying to make some much-needed improvement defensively. Coach Lawrence Frank has given his players an interesting incentive, saying, quote, "We give the ultimate gold ticket to players. If we get stops, we just play out of basketball principles. We don't run set plays off of misses. So if I'm a player and I want freedom, I'm going to get stops." Kevin, this is an intriguing way to encourage that kind of effort on the defensive end.
Defense, maybe not as much fun as offense. So putting that carrot out there makes some sense. Outside, Lynn. Wide, a screen on Knight. Here's Lynn. Lays it in off the expert drop step. And it's an 11-point Rocket lead.
I think one of Lynn's best attributes, Kevin, is his ability to score and finish through contact. He's got deceptive strength to his lower body. He's able to maintain that balance in the paint even after he gets bumped and finish plays.
Well, that balance you talk about with the added strength helps him defensively as well because he's underrated at that end. He might not have the size and reach to lock guys up, but he plays a very smart defensive game.
Maggette off the pick from Axiel. Now, here is Maggette. No luck.
Guys, I think Omir Ashik out of Turkey has been one of the better defenders in the league and a huge part of this team.
Parsons' shot is off. Pistons trail by 12. Maggette with a screen for Bynum. Corey Maggette on the wing. The step back jumper is good.
Another thing about Ashik, guys, is he's a fantastic rebounder. On a per-minute basis, top 5 in the league. I mean, a good rebounder gets one every 3.25 minutes. He's well above that norm. So even if he's not putting up big scoring numbers, he's a player that can help you win. I'll tell you what, for what's really an elementary shot, he looked a little nervous on that release.
Here's Big Dog. Passes it to Bynum. Knocked loose. Oh, and a fast break for the Rockets. Lynn's running. Forbes. And it's rejected. Now Maggette. Gets it to go from 18 feet away. Maggette's got his second bucket of the night.
In the first, he had trouble hitting with any consistency. But here in the second, he's turned it around.
And here is Lynn. The feed to Forbes. "24 seconds left in the first half."
The defense got away with one there. I mean, usually he'll hurt you if you give him that kind of a shot.
Bynum with it. He dishes it to Maggette. Screen by Monroe.
Hammer time. Call it hang time and bang time.
Unbelievable.
You got to just shake your head on that one.
Now here's Lynn. With one on the clock. And he beat the buzzer, but it's no good. So we've reached the end of the first.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
The spookiest day of the year, Halloween. It's really not that scary. Not during the 2K Sports halftime report, anyway. The Houston Rockets in front against Detroit. The season just getting started. They're looking to get on the winning side of 500. They're really going hard at it on the boards, offensively chasing down every miss they can. An impressive first half for Jeremy Lin. After two, he's got 10 points and some nice plays offensively, getting the assists going. And battling nonstop, the Detroit Pistons. High speed, high energy. Every time they get the ball, they're off and running. Rodney Stuckey making the most of his minutes. He has 8 points and also helped out with 2 rebounds. That's it for me here in the studio. Time to send you back out to Kevin Harlan and the crew for the start of the third quarter.
And welcome back to the second half of our Halloween broadcast.
Well, Jeremy Lin has been getting it done. 10 points now, and 3 assists as well. I think his energy and intensity, offensively and defensively, has been sensational.
Yeah, an extremely well-rounded performance, Clark.
Here's Knight. And Detroit again with the bucket.
That's going to be important for this team to fight over the top of screens defensively.
Yeah, you got to tag him and stay right close to him because with his touch, he doesn't need much space to get his shot off.
Here's Lynn. Gives him the lead pass. Here's a sheet. The basket good off the assist from Lynn. Ashik's got his first bucket of the night. Pistons trail by 6. Now Knight. And it's blocked.
They keep pounding them on the glass here in this one. Just a tremendous job rebounding the ball.
Well, that's half the battle. I mean, you go after it every single time. It's a mindset. Never assume the shot's going in. You've got to always assume the shot's going to come off the rim, and it's going to be yours.
And for those of you turning in, we're about a minute into the second half. Feeds to Maxiel. Shoots over Lynn. And it's Maxiel, no good.
And you know one thing about Lawrence Frank, he's going to be prepared. He was actually a basketball manager at Indiana, so he learned under the best.
Oh, that's blocked. Outside for Martin. Fires for three. And that one's good. Martin's got 12 in the game.
Good start for this offense. They're shooting 3 of 4 now from the field, so offense in a good groove.
And Coach Frank, defensive-minded, he spent time as a top assistant in Boston under Doc Rivers and was highly thought of there.
Yeah, certainly was exposed to that terrific defensive system that Tom Thibodeau actually originally instituted in Boston. But Frank picked up on it and continued the trend and then brought that same style to Detroit, where the Pistons did improve defensively last season.
Rockets leading by 9. And here is Lynn. He's got 10. He feeds it to Martin. Here's the 3. The basket good off the assist from Lynn. Lynn's got 5 assists in the game.
Everything working for him out of the half as they've hit 4 of their first 5 shots.
Well, the Pistons have an interesting group of players, young guys who, you know, the question mark with them is, can they fit together? They got a nice center in Greg Monroe. They got Knight from Kentucky. He's a little bit of a tweener. They also have Rodney Stuckey in the backcourt, who's a tweener. So will the pieces fit? I think that's the big question.
And now the first timeout called here for the Rockets. Well, for Detroit, it's... So we see the Rockets get the win here. It was a solid win, Clark.
Yeah, it was, and I think it...
With your first ever NBA game behind you, what does the future hold for you in this league?